Hi, I'm Drew.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to Drewling Samantics.
Oh, hey, tell you what, Sam. I hope that's not a pint of vodka you got there, matey. I mean, has it been a bad week?
No, funnily enough, mate, no, it's not a pint of vodka. I think the face would probably tell you if it was.
Otherwise.
No, I'm on finest Adam's Ale, pint of water today, mate. Simply because it's, despite we've had some hit and miss weather, but it's hot again. And, well, I'm in a studio with lots of lights on. I'm trying to re-energize and refresh and get some decent liquid in. So cheers. I'm on.
Well, cheers, mate. I'm on. I mean, I've got water, but it's got coffee in, and it's hot.
Your
with
water
some
tastes
sugar.
slightly different to mine.
Yeah, enjoy.
But yes. But anyway, how have you been, mate? Had a good week?
Very good, thank you. I've had a nice restful week after previous bits and bobs. So yeah, a nice restful week and little bits of started to do a little bit of writing for Christmas and Halloween and projects down the line.
Yeah.
I know. We've just
aren't we? Yeah.
just said goodbye to the hottest summer we've had in donkey's years, and now it's looking forward to the cold, lovely winter coming up. How about you? What have you been up on and doing?
Odds and sods again, mate. Bit of voiceover stuff.
Nice.
Bit of planning, bit of prepping. I've also got big contracts around Halloween and around Christmas.
Of course you have.
Thoughts about those going on as well. I actually made a new connection recently with a company that I'm doing some work for, so that's good. So planning a few of those in. But yeah, just pattering along and doing bits, really, mate. And
Bits.
but equally preparing for Drewling Samantics recordings because we're back to a guest week.
Guest week.
We are guest week yet again. And what a cracker this one. This one been planned for a little while. And I'm not going to say too much, actually, because I think we sort of alluded to it last week that this particular guest has a bit of a story, almost like an origin story that is slightly shocking. But I'm not going to go any further than that because I think it's best just to bring in our guest and open the airwaves and see what comes of it. But I think people are really, really going to enjoy this one. I can't see any reason not to have a cracking time. So why don't we let our lovely guest in, Drew? What do you reckon?
Let's go for it.
Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, the guest is in the waiting room. We shall bring him in. Please meet the enormously talented and very, very lovely Mr. Syed Jawad. And there he is. Drewling Samantics is proud to present to you, ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful Mr. Syed Jawad. Syed, mate, how are you? It's been a little while, but luckily enough, not too long. But it's still brilliant to bloody see you, mate. How are you?
All good, thank you, my bro. It's, likewise, brilliant to see you as well, and thank you so much, for inviting me onto this amazing podcast,
Bless
So yeah, thank you.
No, post, mate, you're saying all the right things.
All the right things.
Trust me, I've got all my notes written down here,
Syed, I mean, it's a joy to meet you, mate. And you've actually done some prep. I mean, we're not used to this level of professionalism, so
Can I be honest? There's nothing on the paper. It's not black.
You had us fooled for a minute there.
Listen, this is the acting that I've learned from you. Yeah, you showed me when we were working together how much of a good actor you are, and I literally took notes.
Are you listening to this? Are you hearing these?
I'm just wondering whether you got the right Sam Dunning side. I mean,
right.
I don't mean it. Of course I don't.
Before we get into a slagging match, as said, we are joined by the wonderful Mr. Syed Jawad. Someone I've had the pleasure of working with fairly recently, someone who's new to you, Drew, but most importantly, someone who is probably new to a lot of our listeners and watchers. So the best way of curing that newness or removing that sort of initial nerves, Syed, we're going to get you to tell everyone who you are and what you do, please, mate.
So basically, I'm a filmmaker and a singer-songwriter, a YouTuber. And to be honest with you guys, I've only been doing this for 6 years. before that, yeah, before 2019, I had never picked up a camera, couldn't sing to save my life. I was in recruitment for a good 22 years running my own recruitment firm, you know. But on 27th of February 2019, I had a heart attack, right? My fault entirely. It was my fault entirely, right? Because I had too many doner kebabs, too many biryanis. Plus, guys, man, I was 120 kg, you know. So when I used to go to work, yeah, I used to sit next to everybody. Like, that's how big I was. Seriously. When God said, let there be light, he told me to move, you know. I was massive. So while I was in hospital, right, there's only so much Netflix you can watch, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So I got bored. I got absolutely bored. So I thought, okay, what else could I do? So just randomly picked up my phone, just started videoing things that were happening around the ward, you know. And one day I was scrolling through YouTube and I came across a video that said how to edit on your phone. I thought, interesting. I got a few hundred clips sitting in hospital doing nothing. Let me watch it. Watched it, started putting it together, and I was like, yeah, bro, this is all right. You know, I'm enjoying this. So continued like sort of editing and stuff like that after I came out of hospital. And a friend of mine actually asked me to make a video for him for his own recruitment firm. So I thought, all right, cool. So, you know, we got him to dress up as a baker. And by the way, he's a really posh English gentleman. It's like, oh, hello, how are you? Oh, you fantastic. You know, he's one of those guys, right? So I got him to dress up as a baker to bake a cake, right? And he's making a god awful mess of that cake. Like, you know, there's flour here, egg here, batter everywhere, you know. So at the end of the video, yeah, he's got the abomination of a cake in front of him. He pushes that to one side and says, look, we're bad at baking, but brilliant at recruitment. Now, that video got nominated and shortlisted as the best marketing video of 2019. And at that point, I thought, you know what? I've done recruitment 22 years, you know, not really enjoying the lifestyle of recruitment anymore. So let me just go into this head first. And every single person, your family, friends were like, bro, you're mad. You got a recruitment business that's thriving and you're just going to throw it all away and go into something, yeah, that's got no future, no, you know, sustainability. And I was like, well, I might as well try it, right? Because I would have been once on my deathbed. I don't ever want to be on my deathbed again thinking if only or having regrets. I'd rather do it and fail and say, you know what, I tried. And that was it. I just dove straight into it, right? Okay. Set up a studio, my company, the film studio, started making videos, and then obviously lockdown hit, you know, and then got through that. Then a couple of years ago, I got really, really bored. And I was like, I need to do something else that's creative. And I kept thinking and thinking and thinking. And then it hit me. I terrorize my wife with my voice. Let me terrorize the world, yeah, and sing. So that's when I taught myself how to sing, how to produce. Started off my YouTube channel called Syed's Life, where I put everything on there. And for me, it was a case of like I wanted to do something a bit different, you know, with the tracks. So what I decided to do is to do something called vocal only nasheeds. Obviously, being a Muslim, you know, I wanted it to be something very positive, something that inspired me personally as well, especially having that life-changing experience. So I don't use any musical instruments, none whatsoever. Everything you hear on my tracks is done by my voice and then processed to sound like an instrument or to sound nice, really.
Whoa. So I'm dialing it back a little bit. I mean, there you were, presumably, you know, recruitment, sitting in office all day long or whatever, and then maybe eating badly and, you know, whatever. Did you at any time in that should we say your previous life, for want of a better phrase, did you ever have any sort of inklings that you had any kind of creative musical talent, whatever? Did it just suddenly hit you on that hospital bed?
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, Drew, if you would have met me beforehand, right? Okay, first of all, I was the kind of boy that your parents warned you about, number one, yeah. And number two, I was not at all creative. You know, if somebody said, yeah, who is the least creative person? Hello, right here, you know.
Wow.
No inkling. And it was literally just after that, I don't know, it's like a switch went off. I mean, look, I was 39 at that time, okay, when all of this happened, right? And at that point, it was a case of like, well, you're too old to do anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, an old dog can't learn new tricks. And all of a sudden, it's just like, boom, my mind just expanded. And I was like, I need to learn. And that craving for learning and all of this stuff came through, you know. Like camera, I'd never held a camera, even with my own phone, right? You know, using my phone, I would never film anything, take pictures, nothing.
It's a great. I mean, a lot of people now, are picking up phones and making movies, and vertical soap operas and vertical movies. It's a great demonstration of just having something at your fingertips and going, I've got a second chance. I've got to, and like you say, not regretting. I mean, I'm very much the same now. I'm a good deal older than you, and I'm still going, can I do that? Is it something I do? Yeah, what the hell? Because I'll regret it if I didn't try. And I think it's a fantastic inspiration to anybody who hopefully is listening as a young filmmaker or prospective filmmaker going, well, I don't have, I don't have the resources, I don't. Yeah, like you say, there it is. There, it's sitting in front of you. Pick it up and work it.
There's only two things that you need, okay, for anything, whether it's creative led or just generally in life, okay, especially creatively. If you have your phone and you have this and that, that's all you need. Honestly, that is all you need. You're only limited, in my humble opinion, okay, you're only limited by your own limiting beliefs. So if you say, I don't think I can do it, well, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're not going to know until you actually dive in and try. And you know what, man, it is the scariest thing, okay, to go and do something that is something totally new. And especially with filmmaking, right? Okay. A lot of people still ask me nowadays, right, that, listen, I want to be in front of the camera. I want to start a YouTube channel. And these people are really intelligent, really good at what they do. And they have a lot to offer. And they're like, but I can't be in front of the camera. I'm shy. Well, dude, do it. When you were born, you didn't learn how to ride a bike, did you? Yeah, you had to learn. Okay. So they're like, okay, well, how do I do it? Very, very simple. And this is advice that I give to everyone. Whatever you want to do, okay, whatever it is, and if you're too embarrassed to send it out to anyone or to share it publicly, not a problem. 5 minutes a day is all it takes. 5 minutes a day. You sit in a room at the end of the day, for example, if you want to learn how to talk into the camera, come home after work, 5 minutes, put the phone in front of you and just talk about your day. You don't have to show anyone that video. You don't have to ever let anyone know it even exists, but it's your practice. And you can then go back to the first video you filmed of yourself or of anything, and then 2 years on, look at it and see how far you've got. You just have to make a start. You just have to make a start.
As you say, it's overcoming hurdles, isn't it? And a lot of the time, although people are unwilling to admit it, those hurdles are in your mind. If you put that hurdle in front of yourself, it's already there, and you're adding something that you're going to have to sort of overcome before you've even attempted to do something. And it's a very powerful tool to be able to kind of say to yourself, I will try that, or I will have a go. Very few people are going to set out and go, this is what I'm going to achieve. You might like to achieve something, and it's great to have an end goal. But if you've got a steadfast kind of, this is the only route to get it, you're going to struggle. Whereas if you give yourself those outlets, those opportunities to explore and end up somewhere that perhaps you'd never sat, as you said, you hadn't set out to be a musician, but through doing the learning to edit and pursuing that, you got to a point where you're like, well, I've sort of done that. I like doing that, but I need something else. So it's building upon those things. And
exactly.
I mean, look at the position you're in now. You are the perfect advert to everyone to go, actually, yeah, why not try something different? You now have a company and a career based off a decision sat in your hospital bed, which is insane. Really insane.
Honestly, I mean, I would have never thought that this is where my life would have taken me, and yeah, 100%. At the end of the day, I think us as people, right? Okay, we're so blind to things that happen around us because we're so stuck in our own heads, And I think with us creatives, that's a massive issue, right? Because we're so creative, we're constantly thinking of new things, new ways to do things. And, we're storytellers, we're creative people, So when it comes to real life, suddenly we're like, oh my God, what is he going to say if I, put this out, or if I put this video out, or if I sing this, or if I do that, Look, at the end of the day, you are, in my humble opinion, I'm my first audience. So when I make my videos, I make it for me. When I make my music, I make it for me. The video, Sam, that you and I filmed, a few weeks ago, I made it for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm my first audience, and you will always find people out there that like you as a person and share the same interests, and automatically your audience will start getting created as you go on. So, you just have to dive in.
Yeah.
Have you? I mean, you said that thing that people was, there you are. You go, I'm going to do this. I'm a complete change of career. A light has shone and give me an idea. And all those people are going, Syed, you're crazy. You know, what are you doing? You know, you must be mad. Do you think, have they now turned around and gone, yeah, great decision, the right decision to make? Have they kind of, have you changed their minds? And B, are they now behind you? Are they encouraging now and seeing that the new Syed Jawad, the lighter, trimmer, healthier, alive mind man is now, and they're going, wow, this is the guy we know. This is the guy we like. This is, where was he before?
Well, first of all, I don't know who this lighter trimmer, enlightened mind Saeed is, but I like the sound of him anyway.
Well, you look great to me. I mean, I don't know what you looked like before, but you look great now. I'm flattering the guest. Shut up, Syed. Let me get on with it.
I appreciate it. You know what, now, Drew? Seriously, that is such an interesting question, right? Yes and no is the answer. Yes and no.
Okay.
Now, during that period, there was a massive element of self-doubt that got implemented into me because the people that I truly trust and respected and had as my confidants, they were the first ones to say, you're mad. Now, when somebody you trust, family and friends, turns around to you, and says that, of course, any normal human being is going to be like, bruh, what am I doing?
Yeah.
But I'm a stubborn idiot as well. So, I kind of do what I want to do, right? But that self-doubt is always in the back of my mind. So, in the beginning, it was very, very difficult. So to start off with, I would send out videos to people, they wouldn't like it, they wouldn't share it. And obviously, I wasn't doing it for the likes and shares. I was doing it because I just wanted to do it. But a bit of pride as human beings is nice, to say, oh, look, I got a like, I got 5 likes, I got 10 views. It was nice. Fast forwarding a little bit further, when I started gaining traction with my firm, with my YouTube channel, a lot of those people were like, oh, you know what, we were wrong. Yeah, well done. But equally, there was the same amount of people, if not more, that I considered very close and personal friends that disappeared from my journey of life.
Well,
and that left me very, very shocked. I'll tell you why, because these are people that I see every single day. There were people that I would consider really, really good friends, And I realized one thing, that they were friends with me for the person that I used to be, not the person that I am now, or that I was becoming. Including family, including friends, because they hadn't, in their head, I was a type of person who was living a certain type of life, For me back then, it was all about chasing money, business, this, that, and the other. After the heart attack, it was all about, nah, man, it's about life. It's about enjoyment. I don't care if I got money or not. That's the last thing. I got my health, got my family. Yeah. I'm living, I'm walking, just enjoy every single moment. So I became the total opposite of who I was. And suddenly, those people that I thought were the closest people to me suddenly just disappeared out of my life. Saying that, though, I genuinely believe, because not only did that event reinforce my belief in life and my whole mindset, but also my belief set within my faith as well, God then put other people in my life, who have suddenly, become very close friends who share the same opinions that I share as well. Now, fast forward to today. The same people, that were telling me no and said, look, you know what you're doing is really good, are now some of my biggest supporters. Those people that I lost along the way are the ones that are now coming to me saying, listen, Syed, can you help us out as well? A quick little story, if I can just sort of digress a little bit. So obviously I started with videos, right? Everybody wanted a free video, and at the beginning I was like, yeah, let's just do it, right? I want experience, bit of a portfolio, let's do it. So I kept doing it, right? One guy I know, he literally absolutely abused the fee system. I calculated it. For the amount of work I did for him, I was earning about 60p an hour over all his projects, But
Whoa.
you know, it's a learning experience, right? As soon as I realized that, I upped the price, and suddenly the guys disappeared, man. It's like, hello, where are you, bro? Now those same people, and then when I started my music thing, right? I was working with this artist, right? I used to do a lot of their videos, so I played in my first ever track, and man, if I played it to you guys now, your ears would bleed, like it was really bad. But it was a first track. So I still remember, he said something to me that absolutely lit a fire, under me and just within me. He goes to me, listen, Syed, don't bother singing. You can't do everything. Stick to filming. And I was like, okay, fine. Fast forward 3 years, that same guy contacted me a few months back saying, bro, that last track you did, how did you produce it? Can you teach me? And I had the pleasure of telling him, bro, you can't do everything. Stick to singing. Leave the production to other people.
Yes.
Yes.
Takedown. Love it. Love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So I think those people are now sort of realized, that yeah, they've realized that they were wrong. And this is the other thing as well. And again, I'm sure you guys can probably relate to this. When you start off in this sort of career, you don't get any support. People won't say, okay, let me help you, let me get you there. You got to do it for yourself, and you got to, and it hurts, man. It hurts. It's tough. You have days and nights where you're thinking, what the hell am I doing here? Do you know what I mean? Right. But when you get to that position, it's those same people that are like, yeah, this guy's done it. So the one thing that I think, especially as a creative, coming through in this industry, you got to just shut everyone off. You're going to have a million people saying a million things to you. Hear them, but only listen to the things that are going to benefit you. Yeah. Hearing is different. Listening is different.
At the end of the day, it's your race, not theirs, isn't it? We all run our own race, and some of us run very closely alongside each other. Some are a long way away, but we're all running our own races. And I mean, I've had people, help me on the way. But as you say, it was my decision to do it, and I did it very young. My father was a great influence. He helped me, but there's only so much he could do. The rest of it was like, well, boom, you've got to go do it yourself now. He was always there if I wanted a shoulder to cry on, or, say sometimes, I need you to help me. But he wasn't in the same industry. He didn't understand. He said, I can't do anything. He said, all I can be is your father. And I can put my arms around you if you're feeling worried. I can be here for you. And I think that's, at the end of the day, you've nailed it when you said, you are you, they will come back or they will go away. But at the end of the day, you've got to make those decisions and do it for you. I think what I've sort of, taken from what you said so far.
100%.
It's such a good lesson, such a good life lesson.
So here's a question for you then. You've gone from the doing your recruitment to having this massive life and health event to going, right, I need to do something completely different. And you get into something that you suddenly go, well, I've got a real passion for this and I've got the knack for it. And it seems to be working quite well. How do you go from that to going, right, I'm going to make a company from this and I'm going to start bringing people on board who share this same passion, who want to sort of travel my journey with me? Because now obviously you've got others on board as part of the company. How do you make that sort of jump almost?
So you see, that's interesting because just generally speaking, to find good people to be with you in your life is difficult. You got to go, like they say, you got to kiss a lot of toads, to get to the princess, right? I think, is that the saying?
Yeah.
So for me, I've always been the type of person, okay, that when I meet somebody, I like to judge them for who they are and for their actions, and in all honesty, I just simply had to put myself out there, whoever I met, speak to, you speak with respect, you actually listen, you learn from them, you give advice, you actually look to make actual friendships as you go along. Do you know what I mean? And the one thing is that people who are already in this career, when I first started meeting them, they would actually tell me, listen, that color grade you put on there, it wasn't very good. Suddenly I'll be like, oh my God. Like, you don't like my color grade. So I learned very quickly, okay? Like, normally, before in recruitment, people have been like, listen, this contract needs to be better. I could take it. But when you're doing something that's creative, you take it personally, It's an absolute hit in your heart, Yeah. So the first thing that I had to do, okay, is to put a block between getting emotionally connected between my art and advice, I would listen to it all. And honestly, that helped me grow. Now, once I realized the people that were giving me the good advice, I kept them in my life. I was still in there, and also, like, for example, prime example, Sam, that video that we did recently, with Omar.
Yeah.
Again, Omar were brilliant, singer-songwriter, under 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I'd been following him for a long, long time. When I realized I could start filming, I liked what he stood for. His morals, and his principles and all that. So I actually just reached out to him, saying, listen, I love what you do, love what you stand for, love the impact that you're trying to make. Let me do your free video because I want to tell you how good you are. That was in 2021. Wow. Now, very good friends working together all the time. So when we're talking about bringing people in, okay, you physically and proactively have to go out and find the people and pull them in. Man, if you're sitting at the table hungry, yeah, is the food going to come on the table by itself? Hell no. You're going to go up, yeah, turn on the stove, cook, yeah, come back, sit and eat. And that's what you got to do with business as well, and also with careers. Like, obviously, doing filmmaking, I get to meet so many amazing actors, right? Some of the best actors that I've met are the ones that have approached me directly saying, listen, this is why this is my show reel, yeah? If you've got any parts, let me know. And then the conversation starts, and then we start working together. It's not good enough to be sitting there alone saying, I need people. Nah, go out and find them, man.
You've got to chase it. And worst case scenario, if you're struggling, just employ your own family, because I know you bring your son along and he's bloody brilliant. So it's but fantastic. So let's another sort of pathway to go. We swap to the music now, and you said obviously you never really had a passion for music before. You didn't have the talent for it, but you developed that, you worked on it, and you got to this point. Do you see that as the route that you will continue to take? Do you want to keep them both working alongside each other, or is it just finding projects that keep interesting you?
How interesting is that? I mean, when we're talking about music, yeah, I don't know if I should share this. I used to love Backstreet Boys and Westlife. A full
There's
boy
nothing wrong
band,
with that at
yeah,
all.
But obviously, after life-changing event after the heart attack, I sort of really refound my faith in being a Muslim. Music is something that we don't listen to. So now, is this going to be something that I continue? Well, look, in all honesty, it didn't really start off as a career anyway. I only started doing this as just as a hobby. And out of nowhere, just by the grace of God, it just grew. And now, but we're now at like 50,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. And I was happier with 150 subscribers. By the grace of God, they're here with 50K, yeah? So I honestly don't know. I mean, look, I definitely want to continue the music side, okay? Because for me personally, what I feel I'm doing with the music side is everything that I write and sing about are experiences from my own life. And trust me when I tell you, I have a very colorful and varied life, okay, that I genuinely feel that people can learn from. And there's so many stories that I want to tell, and I am telling through the tracks that I'm doing, And if you have a look at my channel, you'll find that pretty much all of them, bar maybe 2 tracks, are very dark. Do you know what I mean? But they all have a very positive spin. And for me, it's very important that whatever projects I put out there, whether it's video, music, client projects, they will have a positive impact on humanity, because that was one promise I made to the man above here, that if you're going to give me a second chance at life, I'm going to do things right, and I'm going to make sure that they're positive. And any project that doesn't have a positive impact, I won't do it. I missed out on that, right? So yes, it is something that I want to continue. Is it going to be something that's going to be my career? I don't know. I really don't. I mean, I didn't think that I'd ever be in this position that I am today with my channel, right? So God knows what the future will hold. But what I am very, very set in stone about, okay, is that I will continue to make nasheeds, these vocaloid nasheeds, because I want, obviously, one thing is, okay, that obviously I want my kids to learn from. I've got 3 beautiful kids, and the generation today, even though we say they're cooked, yeah, we know that when we were young, we never used to listen to our parents' lessons, right? But if somebody else told us the same thing, we'd be like, oh, very good, this is amazing. So in the same way, right, okay, my kids have learned more from listening to the videos and the music that I'm putting out there than actually sitting and talking to me, So in that way, I definitely want to leave something for them as well, and to everyone out there. Would I like to get to 1 million? Yeah, it'll be all right, So, I don't mind about that. But I think for me, the main thing is that any project, whether it's music or videos, if that has a positive impact, I'll do it. Case in point, the project you and I did recently.
Yeah, well, go into that, because the next thing I was going to say is talk to us about recent work, things you've got coming up. Let's do some promotion. That's what we're here for, partly. But please do start off speaking about how we met, because that's an enormously important project. Oh,
yeah. So this is really cool. So, Drew, I don't know how much Sam's told you about this, right? But I'm going to just tell you.
not a lot. This is he's told me that you know, the work is important now. But he said, no, let Syed explain, because you know, it's something very close to you.
Brilliant. So basically, how I met Sam, I met him through Star Now. So I put out an advert, right? So we were doing this video, okay, called A Father, and it's all about divorce, right? Now, when people go through divorce, and I've had a lot of friends that have gone through it, experience, I've seen it firsthand with my own parents. The mother always gets, the benefit of the doubt, which rightly so, but the mothers also, and the ex-wives, they generally tend to, in the cases that I've seen, sometimes use the children as ammunition. Fathers and us men go through a hell of a lot, and a lot of us go through it silently, and when it comes to divorce, we're the generation that we are, we've been taught, keep your feelings inside, man up and get going. So that we hold that stuff inside, and it really affects us. So this whole song, okay, is about a father's perspective about not being able to see the son, And for me personally, it was very emotional. My mate Omar wrote it and performed it, and we were so lucky to get good actors, and that's where I met Sam, But I put out a reel, I don't know, maybe I should send you your reel. So I don't know if you want to put it in there or not,
Maybe we'll have.
Yeah, it was brilliant, So I met Sam through there. Brilliant audition. As soon as I saw his audition reel, I was like, I'm not looking any further. This is the guy. This is my Tom Cruise right there.
Oh, man. If only everyone else had that same thing, I wouldn't stop working. It'd be great.
I'm not so sure about Tom Cruise. I hate to argue with you, Syed, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Tom Cruise. Too tall.
Is it? All right, Shah Rukh Khan then, yeah? But I'm sure Bollywood will have you, bro. Don't worry about Hollywood. Bollywood all the way, man. So, and then basically, then I called up Sam and I spoke to him. And the one thing that I loved about Sam straight away, okay, is his openness and his friendliness, the fact that he straight away understood the project, asked the questions, and he really dove into it as well. And even on the day of filming, and I think this is where my respect for him from here went to there, is his collaboration in working. I've always been a sort of person that, whichever project I do, even though I'm directing, producing, whatever, I want ideas. I'm open to ideas, because it's not just my project. It's everyone's project, So I want ideas, right? And Sam, there were some places where I was like, oh my God, what do we do here? What do we do there? And I'm not ashamed to admit it. Every director, every creative person needs help, from their colleagues. Sam gave some amazing ideas. We worked together, even framing some of the shots. It was like, well, why don't you put the camera here? I was like, that's actually a very, very good idea, and through that, this whole project, came, basically when it's put together, it's coming out, by the time everyone watches this, it's already going to be out.
So we'll put a link for that as well. So
and it's a brilliant project, So, that's basically how I met Sam, and even though, we've met now, he's not going to see the end of me, because I've got a few other projects, Sam, that you and I are going to be discussing over the next few months.
I certainly hope so. And can I return what you're saying? It was a pleasure to work with you. It's always fun to work with directors who are open and willing to collaborate. You do get some people who are like, I've got this idea, this is what's going to happen. And there are certain areas where that needs to be the case. But as you say, the greatest creative products come from openness and willingness to allow others to go, what if? You don't have to take others' suggestions, and you don't have to listen to all of them. But by being open, I think it makes you a better creative to take on board other input. Yeah, and like I said, you don't have to use stuff, but there will be times where someone sees something that because you've got so much going on, you just couldn't see. So it's Syed, Matt, it's been an absolute pleasure having a chat with you. Thank you so much. I know just how busy you are, but I mean, you do it all. You film, you edit, you create, you write, you produce, you sing. You do so much. So to find a little slot in your enormously busy schedule to come on this very small but very grateful podcast, it's meant the world to us. Now, I know you've watched the podcast and you've tuned in, so you know what I'm going to say next, because we always love to finish up our guest episodes with a little story, a little anecdote, and knowing you as I do, there is bound to be something that springs to mind. So have you got a very short little snippet, something that will make people smile or gasp or whatever, something to leave the listeners and viewers with?
Or do I have a story for you? All right, let's get into this. Okay, so going back to the project, in fact, it's about the project that we you and I did.
All right, okay.
I had another chap, yeah, another actor who sent me his show reel, as in, his audition reel, miming the words. So, we didn't go with him. We obviously went with yourself. And so I wrote him a really nice message saying, listen, thank you so much for taking the time out and sending us your audition reel. Appreciate it, but we've gone in a different direction. That was it. We filmed. The very next day, I get a message from this chap saying, thank you for your message, but I know I was very good in my audition reel, okay? I'm one of the best actors out there, and I need you to justify to me why you haven't gone with me.
Wow. Oh, I mean,
So,
yeah.
oh, so I then messaged him back saying, listen, when the video comes out, watch it and you'll understand yourself why we didn't go with you.
God,
I mean,
you've got to kind of applaud. Sorry, Sam.
Told to be confident, and you do have to be confident, and there's a fine line between arrogance and confidence, and you do have to sort of back yourself. And we're in an industry where if you don't believe in yourself, as you said earlier, so no one else is believing in you or doing it for you, so you have to. But equally, you kind of have to take a no with grace and understanding, and it's not the kind of thing you can. It's not like an appeals process.
No, it's not.
It's not like, well, I see what you're saying, but I think you should reconsider. It's not really a place to reconsider. There may be times where a director goes, do you know what? Actually, I've changed my mind. I want to bring this in, or I want to do something different. But yeah, that's an odd one. Sorry, what were you?
One thing that I would have expected, of somebody like that is to say, look, I understand you didn't pick me. Can you give me feedback as to why, so I can consider that for the future?
Yeah.
That's a good learning experience, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think you handled it very, very tactfully as well, because you could have just killed the line and gone, forget it. But just watch the video and you'll understand. And leave it at that. But
and equally, another big thing, and I hope other producers, directors, casting people are listening, to go back to someone and say thank you, but no thank you, is so welcomed, and sadly still really rare in this industry. Normally you assume you're going to audition. If you don't hear within a few days, that's it, write it off. So for someone to go back and say thank you, really appreciate it, not on this occasion, that is such a valuable thing to have. So people take note. If you're in the industry and you're doing this sort of thing, sides is the way to go. That's the way to behave in this. But yeah, I cannot sort of tell you how unsurprised I am that you reacted like that, because you are one of the most lovely people to work with in the industry. It was an absolute pleasure working on the project we did, and as I said, we'll pop a link to that so you can see the creative genius behind it and just why it is so important. So you can check that out, because by the time this episode is out, that will also be out, which is great. But again, mate, thank you so much for giving up your time. Wonderful. It's been a pleasure catching up, and I'm sure all our listeners and watchers will be hugely glad to have met you and devastated that you're off now. So we'll have to bring you back on again in the future.
We will. I was about to say thanks. That there must be more stories. We've got to have it. And anybody who's just listening to this now and not watching it on YouTube, I would advise you to watch it on YouTube, because what you will actually see is one of the friendliest, happiest, most alive faces that you will ever see. You got one of the biggest and best smiles I've seen for a long time, Syed, and it's been a joy to be with you. Really has. So would you come back and tell us more, and when you've got more projects and stuff that you can talk about, we'll have another chat, because it's been 100%. Absolutely inspiring. Great fun.
Likewise, and thank you guys so much for having me on board. It's been a true honor and a pleasure being here. Honestly, you guys are brilliant.
Fantastic.
Bless you, mate.
Take care of yourself, mate. We'll speak again very soon.
Thank you.
Bye. And there he goes, the wonderful Syed Jawad. Now I'm going to say something, and it is not meant to be a pun, but I have to say, but what a big heart that man has. And it's not meant to be. I'm not saying that to be funny, because he sat there with so much passion and so much drive, and has taken what could have been, thank God, wasn't a tragic event, but every cloud having a silver lining. Wow, has he taken something that could have been dreadful and just gone woof, run with it?
Yeah,
immense talent, immense.
We often say that it is clear how much our guests enjoy what they do. And this is obviously no exception. The man is genuinely passionate about what he does. He loves creating. I mean, it's almost quite frustrating that he's only been at it for 5 or 6 years. To know that until that point he hadn't really touched a camera, he'd had nothing to do with the creative side musically. And please do check out his stuff, because we will link where we can, and we'll obviously highlight sort of social media and stuff. Phenomenal musical ability, and to have had none beforehand or no sort of need to go anywhere near it. Yeah, unbelievable. Just hugely talented, that man. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, in his previous life, he was obviously very good at what he did. Given a second chance at life, literally, he's grabbed that with both hands, and he's just a genuinely lovely guy as well. I mean, what a lovely guy. And I meant what I said, guys. If you're still listening and not watching, switch onto YouTube and see the joy this man has in talking about what he does.
Yeah,
but it also makes me think.
Sorry, Joe. Likewise, I meant what I said. It was an enormous pleasure to work with him. To be given the freedom and to know that that the creative side is welcomed and encouraged, and that sort of open nature of the producing the work. Yeah, it makes you feel valued as a performer beyond just I don't know. I've said before, a prop with a pulse. Is often how I describe some elements of modelling, and you could probably take that into some of the acting world as well, where you are just regurgitating something you're told to do, but you feel the value, you feel your input is important and considered. And yeah, it was just the whole process of working with him and his team, brilliant. So I'm very much looking forward to a hopeful opportunity to do that again.
Well, I mean, and so inspirational as well, because I mean, he like you say, he took something he'd never done before. I mean, and I mean, how many people are sitting out there with talents, hidden talents that they've not explored because they think, I can't do that, I won't do that, I might be bad, I might fail. He's gone, just do it for yourself, do it for yourself. Just even if it's rubbish, you've done it for you. It's a gift to you. So yeah, well, and we must get him back on, because there's so much more behind that. There's so many more stories. I want to know more about the bad boy as well. That's quite.
Yeah. Who would have thought that the Mr. Smiley, the Mr. Friendly? Yeah. There's another side to it. Obviously, previously, not like that anymore.
Oh yeah, no.
But just another fabulous guest for Drewling Samantics, fans, followers, listeners, watchers to enjoy. We've obviously very much enjoyed having him. And now it's back to reality, mate, because next week it's just you and me.
You and me, mate. You and me. But I mean, we throw bandy ideas around. I think we've got a nice little future conversation coming up, haven't we?
Yes, actually. People are probably not aware that we try and plan certain things. Some subjects sort of come up naturally and just occur. Sometimes it's driven by what's in the news, or there are certain articles or goings on that we need to talk about. And sometimes we come up with an idea and we go, do you know what? That's an interesting one. And we've actually bloody got one of them, haven't we?
We've got one.
We've got one. So, genuinely, I think next week is going to be one of our best, most interesting and surprising episodes. Quite some time. So people, make sure you do join us again next week. But until then, we've had a wonderful chat with Mr. Syed Jawad. And for now, we shall leave you to that. Drew, I'll see you next week, mate. Have a
I'll see you next week.
See you later, everyone. Cheers. Thanks again for watching this episode of Drewling Samantics.
Please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video.
Don't forget, we're also available as audio only. Just search Drewling Samantics in any good podcast app. And please support us on social media. All our links and handles are on screen now.
We love welcoming new followers and subscribers, so why not share with your family and friends so they can join in too? Thanks very much. See you next time.